Hello everyone, this is my second Konflikt47 painting video where I am going to paint the US Airborne Firefly, and I am going to paint them in a very different style, as some people on the Discord suggested that I should maybe look for a Free French paint scheme. So I'm going to paint them as Free French with blue uniforms, kinda World War I style, because I think that would work great for the paratroopers as a camo color. So I will start with the Fang and pick areas I would like to have in this color. So that's a darkish blue, but I will highlight it later to a very light blue. So let's pick this Thompson guy here, and I'm going to paint everything that is cloth and uniform in this color first. So for law-wise, the French are liberated, and obviously they joined the Allied forces, but in 47 they probably have some training, 2 years after liberation, or 3 years after liberation, whatever, and have their own units as Free French in the US forces, maybe even in the British forces. So that's my headcanon for those units. I wanted to have something different. Konflikt47 gives me the opportunity to experiment a little bit. So like this, I'm going to go around and paint all of them like this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's done now. Now I'm going to paint the helmets in mechanical standard gray. Like that. And also I'm going to pick up my blue wash. I'll find it. There it is. Dragon of Nightshade. And I'm going to wash the uniforms in that color. Just like that. And I have to look that it does not pool too much. in certain areas. Just like that. And I'm going to do this for all 6 of them, and I'll be back. Okay, so the minis look like this now, and I'm going back to the Fang and I'm going to highlight everything that is cloth again a little bit, reintroducing the color. And I'm trying to avoid the recesses as much as I can. I'm not too concerned though. It's just reintroducing the color. And there are straps in here that I'm going to paint a different color later, so I can avoid these. Just like that. Also here, this part. And the sleeves. And I'm not even bothering painting on the underside there. That is fine. That if that's dark, that's completely fine. It should be dark anyway, so I'm just focusing on the upper parts I want in this color. Just like that. And then I'm using Fenrisian Gray to highlight this even more and go a step further. Using my shaker there. So Fenrisian Gray is quite a bit stronger in hue. That's fine. So I'm going in and I'm just really highlighting the most raised parts. It's very bright now, but it will dry and then be a little bit more tame. mostly just stippling the paint on, because I want to have a little bit of texture on that. I think it's called webbing. The glove. I want a little bit of texture on the glove. Just like this. And now I will go around on all the miniatures and do this and continue highlighting everything into this color. Be back in a minute. Okay, so this is how they look now. And now I'm going to use white scar or any other white or off-white like earthen gray. Does not matter. Just to repaint the leather parts, I want to use contrast paint on. So that would be the boots. I will repaint the boots in white. Real quick. That. Also, I'm going to use this on those straps here and the outer part of the knee pad. And then those straps going from here over the shoulders. Just like that. And down in here where they meet. And up to here. Back in here. Just like that. And also there's this side strap in there that I want to be leather. So going in here, painting this. That. Let's have a look. There's the one on this side as well. Going up here. And the strap from this bazooka, special bazooka. That will be leather as well. Like this. And the strap going through here. The strap going through here as well. And this pouch back here. Those parts are going to be leather. So I will do this on all the miniatures. Try not to spill over onto my blue here. Knee pad is still missing on the side, and the straps here. Also, there is a strap back here, which is going to be wide. And here. I think I will show them on another miniature, but they are basically going around the legs here and here. All of the miniatures have them, so I will paint them white. So, to reiterate what straps I'm going to paint white, those ones here. Those need to be white, and those need to be white. So I'm going to do this on all of the miniatures, and I'll be back after priming them. Okay, I'm back again, and I did all the parts that are going to be leather in white. And now I'm using Cygor brown contrast paint to paint those parts leather. Very, very dark paint, goes on very dark. But as soon as I pull it around and it starts to settle, it is a very nice leather color. Especially on white. If you mess this step up, you can always go back and just clean up the blue with the fang and re-highlight it, but just paint on the white. Just going around, painting all the white parts now. messed up here a bit. Repaint this in blue. Just like this. As you can see, I did mess up here a little bit. So I'm going back, filling it up to the line with the fang, just like that. I really do like this contrast paint. Makes such a great and quick level. So I will go around now and do this for all the models, and then I'll be back. Okay, so this is how they look now, and I have a little bit of scrag brown and towelite ochre here on my palette, and I'm going to use this to highlight the leather a little bit. Just front of the boots. The sides here. Use a bit of the ochre just to highlight that again a little bit more, just on the highest spots. Brighten them up a bit. this. I will go around and do this for all the level, and then I'll be back. So this is how they look after doing the leather, and I think I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the fabric here. So I'm using the Fenrisian gray and some of my white I have on the palette and make a little bit of a lighter color, even lighter than Fenrisian gray. A bit of water. And I'm just doing the strongest folds here. So like here, just like that. Only the hardest and highest points, as I want a little bit more contrast on the blue. Like that. It's entirely optional step, but I think it gives the miniature a little bit more depth. So I'm going to go around and do that for the whole miniature, and I'll be back after that's done. See you in a minute. Okay, after finishing that highlight, I am going to paint all those little armor plates here, the gun, and the backpack in the same gray as the helmet. So let's go. Let's paint it. I did experiment with green first, but it's too much of a break away from the overall color scheme, so I will keep it like this. Doesn't make more sense. I might need 2 coats of this color. Also, I'm going to paint the shoulder pad here in this gray as base color. Trying not to get the gray. Anything else but the parts that need to be gray. Just like that. I will need 2 coats. I will do that. I will do that on all of the miniatures, and I'll be back after that. Okay, so now that I base coated this jetpack gray and the shoulder and also the knee pads, I'm going to paint a French flag onto the shoulder pad. For this, I'm going to use contour blue, Ulfern gray, and Mephiston red. I will start with contour blue, and I will paint this part here of the shoulder pad in this dark blue. Now I will take the Mephiston red and do the same thing on the other side. And now my Ulfern gray, and I paint this middle strip. I have some a bit of color here. Okay. Just like that. And now They are clearly French. And next step is going to be doing this on all of them, and then I will wash all the gray parts and the shoulder pad with Nuln Oil and then let it dry. So I'm going to wash that gray. To make the recesses dark. Normally I would paint more parts that need to be washed with Nuln Oil before washing them, but because I do not have any idea what is going to be metallic and what I'm going to do next, I am going to do this and go from there. Just like that. I will do this on all the miniatures now and be back after that. So now that the wash is dry, I take my blue, white and red and reintroduce color here. Just like that. And my white, clean up this bit. Then I'm going to use some Black Legion contrast and just black line this top side, black line this bottom side of the white, and then I will black line the separation between those two here, just to have a little bit more deeper contrast to separate those colors a bit. Just like that. Looks good to me. Spill the black a bit on the left side. I'll clean this up like that. There we go. French. Now I will get my Iverson Scarlet and highlight the red. I just want to emphasize it like this towards the corner of this pad here, like that. Then I'm going to pick up my other top blue, like the blue. That color is very dry. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to reinvigorate the color with some medium and water. Shake it vigorously on my shaker, and now it is workable again. And I can highlight that shoulder pad. Just like that. Now I will take some pure white. White sky in my case. You could use any white. And I will highlight this off-white as well. Just like that. And down this line. And up here. And now the shoulder pad is done. I will do this with all the other ones as well. But before I do, I will use my Mechanicum standard gray and reintroduce the base color to the gray parts. And keep it away from the recesses. I'm using the brush to pull the paint towards the backside, so I have a natural blend, and then I will just highlight this a little bit. And I will do the same on everything else that is gray. Here. So if I can do it in focus. Pull back the paint like this. And this top part, like that. Here. And here. Just like that. I will do some highlighting on the bottom as well. But that's the only highlight that is going on the bottom here. Just basically just some cleanup, reintroducing the main color here. That. And I also noticed that those wings are separated on the corners here, and I will use this to reintroduce the blue and the red just on those tips of the wing. Blue on this side and red on this side. Just like that. Make it more French. And then use my highlight color just on the end of the tip. Both of them. Just like that. And I might do something white in the middle as well, just on the top. There's this plate here. I want to be white, I think. Yeah. Let's go full French on this one here. Just like that. Use my pure white. Highlight it up to white. I will let that dry. It's a bit chalky. I will clean this up with diluted white after it's dry. And I will do this on all of them now. And highlight all my grays to this tone. Base color, tone again. And then I'll be back. Okay, so in the next step I'm going to edge highlight everything that is gray with some Dawnstone. And we'll go around and highlight everything that is gray with this color. Like those knee pads. Just like that. The rim of this helmet. Turn around the model. Just like that. Drop the model. Maybe not drop the model. And the jetpack. And this bazooka looking contraption here. the wing here, this flap, this part here, the other side, flap, this part, and this corner here. And the top edge. And also along here and along here to separate this a bit. And that's the gray. I'll go around and do this on all of the models. Also I do on this corner, this flat panel here and this flat panel here to be in this lighter gray. And that's the gray. So I do this on all the models and then I'll be back. And the next step will be painting the skin tones. Okay, so now everything is highlighted on the backpacks and the helmets and the knee pads and also the shoulder pad. And now I will use some Cadian flesh tone and paint everything that is skin. So as far as I can see it, there is some skin behind those masks. Here. So painting the neck like this. Not a lot to paint here. Don't spill on the blue. And the hands. All the hands. I'm deliberately having a little bit of a gap between the skin and the jacket. There's a rather sharp transition here, which makes sense for me. Just like that. And I will go around and do this on all the miniatures. So be right back. Next step is regular flesh shade, and I will wash all the skin. Just like that. Was not the camera. We'll do it again on this one. I will just wash everything that is skin now. that. I will go around and do this, and then I'm back at the next step. So now I'm going to take Cadian Flesh Tone again, and I'm going to highlight all the flesh parts just a bit. I'm going to leave the neck as is, but I'm going to use some Kislev flesh for a second small highlight just on the knuckles of the hands. If I can get the paint out. There we go. Just a touch on the knuckles. Just like that. I'm going to do this on all the models, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so now next I'm going to use Iron Warrior, and I'm going to paint everything that is metal. Iron metal is a very, very dark metal, dirty metal. And I'm going to paint this part here. I'm going to paint the magazine here. And the rifle barrel. Yep, just like that. And I'm going to paint that gas mask. Everything except the eyes. And I think that is everything. It's going to be metal. And I will do this on all the other miniatures, i.e. for the flamer here, going to do this tank and the whole weapon in metal. And for those ones, I'm going to paint the scope, the magazine, and the front here, I will leave this as is. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I did that. And I accidentally painted over a few of the lenses, and from the Tommy guns I painted over those coils. So I'm going in with my Ofen Grey and I'm just repainting those parts white, like the coils in here. And while I'm at it, I will do the same on those engines in the back here. I will just paint them white. And I will paint the in between here as well. Just fill it in with white again. Because I'm going to do a light effect here. Those parts, so just like that. And I'm going to paint the lenses as well, because I want them to be green and also kind of having a light effect in there. So while I'm at it, I'm going to do that. Just like that. And I'll be back in a minute after doing this for all of them. Okay, so I'm done with that. And now I'm going to take Carandra's green, thin it a little bit down. It's very strong, vibrant green. And I'm going to fill it in here on those coils. And I want some of the white coming through here. Doing the same on the eyes, lenses, getting painted like that. And these engines in the back here. Also get that paint. Just like that. And let's do that on all the minis. Also, I did paint those stocks here because I am going to use some Black Legion contrast paint to blacken them. Oops. Just like that. And I'm going to do the pistol of this guy as well in the black. Maybe I do it in camera. Why am I not using my handle? I don't know. Let's do this quickly. So I go around and I will do the black and the lighting, and after that I will wash all the metallic parts in Nuln oil. And I will do this as well off camera real quick, and after everything is dry I will be back. Okay, so now the washes are drying and the green as well, and I'm taking some of my Dawnstone for highlighting those black parts. Just a touch on some of the highest points here. And then I'm getting my Ulfin Grey. It's too much. And just touch corners. Just like that. And I will do this on the other BAR as well, really quick. Just like that. The green is still drying back here. And the wash also needs some more time to settle, and then I'm going to dry brush the metals quickly, just on those BARs and the flamethrower. I'll be back when this is dry. Okay, so now I'm going to use Gauss Blaster Green first, because I am going to finish the green now, and then do the dry brush. Okay, so just like that. Some in the eyes. Like that. And now let's do the dry brush with some Just almost silver. Just like that. A little bit of dry brushing. Just like that. I'm going to highlight the... Okay, so I'm going to go around and highlight the greens, and then I will do the last painting step, which is the wooden stocks on the guns. Then the miniatures are done, and I'm going to base them. Be right back. Okay, so that's done now. And I'm going with some dried bark. And I have also some Baneblade Brown on my palette. And I'm going to paint those rifle stocks. Just like that. And I'm going to use my Baneblade Brown while the color is still wet, and blend that in to make it look like wood. And then that's done. Again. Like that. The flamer does not have any stocks, as well as this. So only the Tommies are left, and I'm going to paint this part. I forgot to paint some fingers here. Like that. Now so now I'm going to do the bases. I'm going to do the same as with the Stahltruppen. Like that. I'm going to do this on all of them. And also I'm going to add some plastic sprue bricks onto the bases and prime them red. Okay, the bases are now drying, or nearly dry, and I put some bricks on there. So now I will use some hull red from AK as the base for my bricks. And I will just paint them with that. Just like that. Let's quickly do all the bricks. Doesn't need to be perfect by any means. It's just for some basing. Split over some paint, but doesn't matter. I will do some pigments later anyway. Cutting up some sprue is the easiest way to make bricks in the right scale. I literally just used the Firefly sprue, nipped off some of the struts around the sprue and glued them to the base. Very easy, very effective. And I love the hull red for bricks. Now I'm going to use some Evasan Scarlet while the paint is still kinda wet on the bricks. First of all, I'm going to mix it a little bit with my hull red, make it a bit brown. It's mixed on the brush, and then I'm going to dab this on kind of randomly and let it mix on the still wet bricks. And now I'm using the pure red. Do the same. Just dabbing it on like this. When it dries, it will just look like a brick. Okay, I will let this dry now. Then I will wash the bases with nylon oil. And then clean up the trims. No, dry brush it, clean up the trims, and put on pigment powder. Okay, so I'm going to pick my nylon oil, still have it on the palette, and wash the base with it. If I pick some non-dry red on the way and have it spill onto the base, that's fine. Will help later on when weathering the base. Need a bit more wash. Just like that. And now this really needs to dry for the pigment treatment. So I will let this fully dry now. So they are still drying. This takes a while, but I took the time and cleaned up the base rim, and I'm going to paint them in Abaddon black. I put on my palette, and now I will just go around the mini and paint the rim black. I just took a modeling knife and scraped around the base, so I have a clean plastic rim to go through. Just like that. Cleans up the model nicely and makes it look more finished. I probably need to do a second coat anyway, so I will dry brush and then do a second black coat to clean everything up again. Even though I'm kind of fine with how the bases look, I think they just need some more pigment and they are done. Oops. Okay, just like that. Let that dry as well. And I'm back when this is dry. So, as painting is a process, I decided against dry brushing because as those miniatures dry, I think the base don't need it. Bases don't need it. So what they do need and what I do want to do is I'm going to use some pigment powder, ash and earth, trench earth, to put on some pigment for differentiating the base. So I need to stop breathing now for a second. Put some ash on this side. Clean up the base rim again. Put some here. Just like that. A little bit of pigment powder goes a long way. I'm using a brush I only use for applying pigment powders. And nothing else. As you can see, that powder is very, very strong in coloring everything it touches. And I focus this on the parts that did not get wash really and are still mostly pure gray. And that's the ash. Close it off, put it away. And now, flick off the excess my pigment brush, and now I will use the trench pigment powder. It's a reddish brown, and drop it around the bricks, just like that. Mostly on the parts that already have some of the color from painting earlier. Wet my finger and clean up the mini. Basically, I'm just pushing the pigment onto the base. The rim. Just like that. And now, what I really like is that those bases that Warlord Games provides for the minis have a lip, which is quite nice for using pigment powders, because you're going to use a pigment fixer probably, which I'm going to do next. So I'll close this up, clean up the brush. And now I have pigment fixer. Open it up. Take some tool, dropper tool, and then I will touch the model very, very carefully, because I don't want the pigment on the rest of the mini. And I am going to drop this fixer onto the base, and it will instantly go around like this. It looks very, very wet, and it will evaporate, and then the pigment will be fixed to the base, and it will look like it looks now, but it is then sturdy and in place forever. Capillary action will do a lot. It just goes around the model very quick. Also, it is somewhat satisfying to do this. Now, this will take a lot of time to dry. It takes a while until this stuff evaporates completely and dries. Like at least 3-4 hours minimum, but it will look great. Okay, so that's the models. That's how they look now. And they are done. Thanks for watching. Bye.